Welcome to the training session on Introduction to Industrial Control Systems, Cyber Security. I'm planning to offer you here a 5-hour interesting, exciting, and educating sessions, and you will learn everything what you need to know about industrial control cyber security. My name is Daniel Ehrenreich, and I will be your trainer. As I mentioned, I have over 44 years of experience in the industry. Past 30 years I'm dealing with industrial control systems, working in large companies, Motorola, Siemens, and also Waterfall Security. In past 10 years, I'm specifically focusing my activity on industrial control systems. When we speak about the cybersecurity for industrial control systems, I want to tell you for who is this training. This training is first of all for industrial control systems operators and engineers who need to learn what they need to know about cybersecurity for industrial control systems. It will be for operators who already have the knowledge how to operate the control room, but they don't have the experience needed for cybersecurity. And finally, we will be talking to IT experts who know cybersecurity, but they don't know how to deal with industrial control systems. When we say industrial control systems, we need to talk about 9 to 10 different applications, speaking about water and wastewater, electricity generation and transmission and distribution, oil and gas, building management systems, communication networks like cellular and Wi-Fi. All these need to be controlled. Transportation. We need to speak about environmental monitoring, and also in the past few years we started to deal with building control systems. When we are speaking about the challenges, we have practically 3 important challenges which will be truly explained during this 5-hour workshop. Industrial control systems were built to operate in safe and reliable mode, but cybersecurity was not included in the specification. The second challenge is that majority of the installed systems worldwide are using outdated hardware and software, and unfortunately these systems cannot be properly upgraded for cyber security. Finally, the biggest challenge refers to people. Industrial control systems and also IT systems can be attacked because people did not receive the proper training. They don't know how to detect the attacks. They don't know how to stop the attack. They don't know how to minimize the damage. So many things which you need to learn, and this will be included in this session. So, when we speak about cyber attack, what kind of cyber attack we are talking about? We are talking about 3 types of, which I call it vulnerabilities on risk or challenges, you name it. We speak about internally generated cyber attack, exactly what happened at the Stuxnet incident in 2010. Somebody is penetrating to your facility and inserting a USB stick into the computer, into the controller, or anywhere in the network. The malware will be penetrated to the system. Then we talk about externally generated cyber attacks, similarly to what happened in Ukraine in 2015 and 16. It started with social engineering, and the attacker sent a malvertised file through the internet, through the email. An employee open that file and allow the attacking code to penetrate to the system. The result is all known. 800,000 people in a city were out of power for 6 hours. Finally, we need to talk about the supply chain attack. This is new. In the past, we didn't deal with them, but now it is very important because of the COVID-19 period, is that we must allow people to connect remotely to our system, because experts and service people cannot arrive to our facility because of the limitations in travel. Furthermore, we need to talk about the risk is coming from software vendors, hardware vendors, and these are people that we trusted them for many years, but suddenly something happened and they turned to become an attacker. So what can happen? What can happen when the attack is coming to our facility? And we will discuss it in details during the session. Initially, somebody may steal information. A higher level attack may include somebody stealing information and modifying that information and causing malfunctions of the operation. Somebody may steal information from our organization in order to develop a larger attack. And finally, when the big attack is coming, unfortunately, an explosion can happen. People may get hurt. In worst case, people might die. So you see, the risk is significantly high. I show here a short example from a Kaspersky study about 2 years ago, that a large number or large percentage of computers were attacked or malvertised. So still something already happened, and this number is unfortunately growing. So we have a good reason to be well prepared. When we speak about a cyber attack, okay, we need to know that there is no single methodology which can allow us to protect our system. There is no silver bullet, as we like to say, no single technology, no single procedure, and we need to have a layered process. A layered process always start at the perimeter, where we have the fence, when we have the firewall to the IT network. Then we need to protect the endpoint security, okay, the endpoint devices. We need to protect then the network within the IT area, within the ICS area. These networks must be protected. Finally, we need to protect the process where the PLCs are, the remote terminal units are, and where they on the floor when the process is running. So very important to deploy a layered defense. So how we are doing it? Obviously, we don't need to invent anything. We don't need to. There are standards around the world, depending on in which organization you are. If you are a power company, then you want to look at the NERC-CIP. If you are in a water company, you want to look at the AWWA. In general, you can speak about the NIST 882 and the NIST framework 1.1. And finally, there is the 62443 international standard, and we will dedicate more time to this topic. Not forget the 27001 2013, because this is a process for the IT organization. However, very much applicable also for the OT related people. So, what are we going to do during these 5 hours? During these 5 hours, we will have, as I mentioned, 10 sessions. Each session will be between 25 to 35 minutes. It will be an educating session, including many slides and so on. Initially, we will talk on the first session, we will talk about the introduction to the ICS OT IIoT technology, specifically for those people who do not have the background, okay, and they need to learn it. Then we will explain how the attack is happening. We will talk about the Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain. We will talk about the Mitre, ATT, and many other processes. So you will truly understand how it is happening. On the third session, we will actually talk about the attacks. How the attack is happening. We will mention the man in the middle, the distributed denial of service, the GPS type attack, many different processes. Obviously, we will not skip the ransomware, which may attack our organization and so on. Then we need to talk about, then on the fourth session, we will talk about the actual defense measures. We will talk about the PPT triad, the CIA, the SRP triad, the visibility analysis, asset inventory, and also talk about modern technologies like the SIM and the SOC. And I will also mention the managed security service providers, how we are collaborating with them, what they can do, what they cannot do. On the fifth session, we will already gain enough knowledge. We will talk about technologies, about the firewall, the demilitarized zone, the unidirectional gateway. We will briefly talk about what is encryption, what is authentication, how it is working, so you will understand this topic as well. On the sixth session, we will go to additional technologies like intrusion detection systems. We will talk about process-oriented anomaly detection. We will talk about communication-oriented anomaly detection. We'll see how the anomaly detection, the IDS, is integrated to the SIM, which is integrated to the SOC. So you will see how the entire defense process is running. So what else we need to learn? Most important, we need to learn best practices, because this is what you need to do every day. How to do assessment, how to detect vulnerabilities, how to deal with IIoT connection to the ICS. All these things you will need to learn in details. On the eighth session, we will talk about as I already mentioned earlier, the regulations. You need to understand a little bit, as much time as we can dedicate, 882, to the NIST Framework 1.1, the 62443. You need to understand what is the differences, the NERCSIP, the AWWA, when we choose which one. On the ninth meeting, the one before the last one, we will talk about the 62443, because the standard ISA, IEC 62443, because this is actually the only one internationally accepted standard, which you can deploy to all applications. So it will be very, very, very important to understand as much as we can do in 30 minutes. Those who want to learn it in more details can go to a full day class, a 3-day class, or a 2 weeks class, as much deeply as you want to go and obtain a formal certification. Finally, on the last session, the 10, after we learn the technologies, we learn the risk, we know what can happen, we will scroll through quite many events which happened in the past decade or 2 decades. What happened, how it happened, what kind of damage they occurred, and you will see the picture. So, This will be the 10th session. I can promise you 5 hours of interesting, exciting, meaningful sessions that will really allow you to learn this topic, acquire the needed knowledge as much as we can do in 5 hours. And later, obviously, everyone can decide if you want to go to a 2 days training or a 4 days training. You want to obtain a formal certification as much as you wish to allow. So see you soon at the 5 hours introduction on industrial control system cyber security.